Lots to cover, lots to get through here, so I'm going to quickly jump straight into it. But obviously, we're launching on Base, and I want to run through a fair few things before we get towards the launch here, which is under a week away. Before I start, because I'm running through this, and we've said it multiple times, whatever you do, don't come in and buy Scale until it's ready to go. And I advise you to understand exactly what we're doing there with the way that we're going to launch with a bit of bot protection and stuff like that. So there is no liquidity. The fees are wound right up, ready for our launch, which is going to be on the 4th of October. So the best thing you can do is just get the information in your calendar, hop into the Discord, make sure you're there and engaging, and also running through these mediums that we're going to run through in a moment. Then we're going to run through the airdrop list and exactly how all that works as well. So first thing I want to do is I really want to run through and I want to explain to you how we've set this out, because people are probably scratching their head a little bit going, all right, so what does Scale on Base mean? Okay, and it's pretty simple. What we're doing, and we're doing it very differently, is we're taking Equalizer as an exchange and we're taking it to another chain, and we're going to now have two chains in play. But what we're doing is we're going to make it very simple, and they're going to be independent liquidity hubs. But instead of starting, like, for a comparison, a new business and going, all right, we've got Equalizer here, and then we've got Scale the DEX, or however we wanted to name this next DEX, what we're doing is we're going, Equalizer is the DEX. Equalizer is the DEX that will be on these multiple chains. But the way it works is Scale is the token that sits on there. So this helps us a lot because we're going to still have one Discord. So we're not going to expand and need to manage two Discords. It's going to help us because we're going to have one Twitter. So we're not going to have, a Twitter here and a Twitter there. It means that we can get the one message through the same Twitter. We're going to have the same team. So we're not going to be expanding and needing, a double up in team members and managing. We're trying to do it in the most efficient way possible. And we see it like, let's not start another business for the chain. Let's just add a product. Okay, so we did that with equity, and now we're doing that with Scale. Scale is the token, so we're going to have Scale, we're going to have VE Scale. So that gives you a good understanding on exactly how we've sort of set up this new setup. It's as simple as a drop down here. You've got Phantom, Base. You move between the chains, and if you're on Phantom, you'd be using Equal, and if you're on Base, it will be Scale. Okay, so it's pretty simple if you just break it down, that it's just the token ticker. And there's another reason why we didn't just put Equal onto another chain, because then we would see like equal price on Phantom, equal price on Base, and then there would be like people going, well, why is it $9 here and $4 here and all that sort of stuff? How come I can't bridge them into? So what we did is we've just gone for a separate ticker. Scale is representing what we're doing. We're scaling Equalizer. We're taking it to the next level, and we're scaling it across to Base. Now, stick around because I am going to show you how to bridge quickly across to Base, or some options that we have directly embedded in our DApp. But first, I want to pop on to part one of what we're doing, give you guys a little bit of an understanding on why this move to Base, or this expansion to Base, I suppose. How we're doing it by rewarding our VE Equal holders. So effectively, we're like, well, everyone's stuck by us in the community. They've built these VE Equal positions. We're not going anywhere from Phantom. We built ourselves to the number one DEX. So we're doing the most volume on Phantom through equity and obviously our main Uni V2 pools, which operate on Phantom. So we're there to stay, all right? We're going to continue to work there. That's an independent liquidity hub. That's a product that we have in our portfolio, and we're there to support that. But the main thing is we're going to take those VE Equal people especially, and also we're going to help out some of the people that also participated, especially providing liquidity for us. And we're going to then give them the newly minted or a very, very large share. Specifically, it's 50% if you look at it in this way, because you've got 40% which goes to an airdrop to equal participants, and that's to look after everyone, and also a little bit there for future equal activity. So there might be some things to come there that will be exciting, and it helps us keep a little bit of connection between the two liquidity hubs. Then we've got the team NFTs, and then we've got the ecosystem pair NFTs. And I want to run through them because some people have had questions on them. But basically, they are their NFT, they're NFTs that are there to vote for the normal sort of blue chip type things on Base. So it's mainly going to be like an ETH USDC, potentially some stables and things like that. And the reason we're doing it is because in the past, predominantly myself and even other team members have had to sort of take those pairs and just vote for them, even though they weren't always, or generally are not always the best in yielding sort of pools. But they're very important to the health of our DEX. So we need to make sure that we operate as a DEX. We don't just want to be one of these bribe DEXs, okay, of course. So what we want to do is we want to have something there to manage and just really stick there and make sure that we're monitoring and keeping those ecosystem pairs stimulated. So then we move into your sort of initial liquidity, which is going to go into a pool, and that's what we're going to launch on the 4th of October on the flip of Epoch. Now, quickly go into why we're doing this. So we've watched a lot of launches. We've launched ourselves on Phantom, one of the first there to do that. And we launched our emissions and our token at the same time. And we felt it was the best. We've also then witnessed it be done in a different way, where people might launch a token today and then have 5, 6, 7 days, whatever, where there's no balancing emissions coming in. Because this system operates obviously with people purchasing a token, but then it's got emissions that come in and then it balances it out. What you have when you put a fixed supply in that's not realistic and is low and nothing to counteract it with no one that wants to sell or do whatever they're doing, then effectively you just get this one big bubble and everyone gets wrecked, right? Like we're going to do our best and our best possible to have a fair launch and try and give all those early entrants a really good opportunity to get involved and basically become part of or equalizer on Base with Scale and VE Scale. So that's our initial goal. We're going to have a really, really good starting price, I believe, that is well under fair value. So that's the goal. We believe that based on our last launch, and still people that bought at that launch are actually still well in the positive, and at the same time they've earned all this yield for so long. So I think our model and the way we launched last time taught us a lot. What we've witnessed over the last period has been very, very influential and very interesting for us to continue as a team to sort of workshop ideas and see how can we make it better this time, really. So this time round, we're going to put the liquidity in. It's going to have well below what we believe is a fair value price. We don't want to start at the price we think it's worth, because then it moons up and then everyone's getting wrecked again. So I don't even like using the word wrecked, but what I want to illustrate is we're trying our best to give a fair launch and really allow those first people, those first movers that take the risk to have a really good opportunity there. And then we've got incentives. So those incentives are there for us to work through and see how they might, like a little marketing budget, so to speak. These two are liquid tokens, and these 8 million tokens here are basically the VE Scale lock tokens. So that's why we're saying it's a 50% share there to our current people that are on FTM with Equal. So there's a really big breakdown that we've got in the next part to show you through exactly how that works, and I'll run through it. I'll quickly go through the emissions. It's pretty important. So what we've done here is we've looked at all emissions. We've looked at it from all the platforms that are launched. Whether there's 400 solidly ones, we've looked at 200. So we've looked at so many tokenomic sets. We've basically just monitored the market for the last 9 months at the same time as running our own independent opportunity, which, as you're all aware, FTM had a few little issues, but we're rebuilding there, and we're continuing to see success and continuing to see bribers come through, and at the same time, volumes are starting to build back a little bit more, which is nice. But the way we've set it here, and we learnt this from the way we made some adjustments about 3 months ago to the Equal tokenomics, is we've set it to have a 2% decay. So what that means is basically each week 2% is coming off, okay? So we're going to see it just really quickly ramp down, which what that does, we called it the reverse rebase, And it basically is, because it's coming down at such a rapid speed, it's effectively rewarding people more because they get less dilution to their voting positions. So it's like, instead of printing more tokens to give you dilution protection, we just come down a lot faster in the way we distribute tokens. So it's a different way of giving a rebase, so to speak, and we call it a reverse rebase. And for that reason, I think you're really going to like these tokenomics. We've sort of looked at them in how can we do this better? How can we tweak this? How can we see like a rapid decline so that the people that are, sort of coming in are in a good position, but also welcoming in new people as we come down to make it really, really scarce, right? So there is a lot of mechanics at play to make that work for everyone. And just why we're excited about Base. And I think from my own perspective, and definitely the team share this as well, it's effectively going to be this on-ramping hub for new personnel or new people coming to utilize on-chain or to come on-chain. So we see that as a great point, because you probably saw how we launched Equalizer on FDM. We basically did a lot of education for the community. We onboarded a huge level of experienced community members up first, and we educated, and we continue to educate people about our system because it is complex, okay? So what we then do here is we go to Base, where we think the opportunity for new people that are coming on chain to learn about DeFi, to learn about our system, and we're there to capture those people as they come through so that they can take part in almost like owning a piece of your own Coinbase, okay? So, Coinbase, they have investors and they earn a yield and a dividend and all of that. Whereas with us, we have our own ecosystem, we have a DEX that sits there, operates on chain, and the people that participate earn those tokens. So it's basically, from our perspective, we see it a very, very good onboarding point for new people, and not only today, but in the bull run. So what I'm most excited about is teaching people more DeFi. So we're going to go back through things that you might have already learnt before, but we're also going to have new people learning those things, and at the same time, we're going to teach other things as well. So really, really want to dive deep into even code and things like that. I want to show you how everything works on the chain, all right? So moving on to part 2, and we're just preparing for launch here. We're effectively come up with our point system, which rewards everyone, and you'll see in our airdrop list here on June that everyone is rewarded for basically whatever their participation was within Equal in the first instance. And based on your level of participation, whether you're providing liquidity or you're one of our governance voters, then we've allocated accordingly. So 100 points goes to you if you're VE Equal, and 50 points to our standard liquidity providers. If you're on Tarot, you got a 40 points there, and then if you were lending, you got 5 points. And if you just kept the liquid Equal and potentially were there to try and get a bump and sell out, then we gave you a couple of points as well just for participating. That's separated into the tokens that are allocated there. So we also allocated a very special little 400,000 there that are going to go to anyone that, to be honest, it's completely open at the moment where we will send them, but I think the most sense makes us, or makes sense is for us to look at people that are participating still on Phantom and bring them over and vice versa, give them a little bit of a taste of Base. But at the same time, we might also, I think we're going to continue to evolve and find ways to connect the two, because that is important for us to continue to service FTM and service Base. I know they're two independent hubs. We think we've separated them well. We think if we've got the strategy in place, which means that we can effectively and efficiently service these two markets. So we want to see how we can sort of, do some fun things to keep engaged across both channels. And then we gave a small example, and this is important. This is the launch sequence. This is exactly what I said at the start. Don't buy Scale at the moment. It's not for trading. It's got a high fee set there, and we've done that to stop bots, stop snipers, stop people coming in and basically just pushing the price up or taking all the initial supply, and no, genuine people that want to get involved get it and then they get dumped on or something like that. We can't say that it's a guaranteed system, but we see it as a way that you'd be pretty mad if you're a bot and you're just going to, risk it all. So we've got the structure starting at 90%. We're going to work it through and we're going to get it back down to 2% in that first thing. And I think we'll start to see the token price the fee for Scale ETH come down to about 1% over maybe the first week or whatever, over the first few days. I think it's important while a huge amount of trading is going on, we're going to keep those fees for the VE Scale, and they're going to vote on it, and that's going to start that flywheel. It's really going to get people participating. So many people are going to want to LP on that pair. So as you can see there, it's a very important part for us to sort of have a slightly higher fee there, especially there to support that liquidity pool and really get the momentum going. But basically, that's our mission on Base. That's why we've selected Base. That's the way that we're going to launch between these two. 543 is going to make another article there for part 3, so keep your eyes out for that. He's working hard on getting this airdrop together. We were testing some things today, so that's very, very close on getting you a UI to claim your airdrop. And then we move on to the June allocation here. So you can run through, there's a lot of information to show you how it all works. But effectively, here is everyone's addresses with their amounts that they've got in points. And then that'll just be divided across the 3.6 million VE Scale that are ready to get airdropped. You can see that VE Scale got the largest share there. And then these other little sections here with small pieces of the pie, but we're still rewarding those people for participating within our ecosystem, especially those people that provide LP. And we had a big discussion within the team, which was like, these guys are, putting LP there for people to be able to trade the token. It's very important to the ecosystem. We want to show people that if you did that on FTM, that we're going to reward you as well on the other side there, because you're an important part to, and still an important part to servicing and making sure we have a nice market there for people to trade in. So we also want those same people to hopefully come over and do the same on Scale as well. So we thought that's an important piece to reward. And I know some people think, oh, but they weren't in V equal. Well, they didn't get as large a share, but at the same time, they're getting rewarded for that action that they did there. So we'll move on to the last thing here, and that was that I wanted to show you through the bridge. I wanted to show you, because a lot of people are coming through this saying, how do we get across to Base? They might be on Ethereum, they might be on FTM, could be on BSC, who knows what network you're on. But we've got a bridge on our site which allows you to go. So there's two hooked up. You've got Axelar or Squid, and then you've got Stargate, which is layer 0. So depending on the chain you're on, you select that chain. Let's just say, for instance, you are on Phantom. Select Phantom. We're using the Axelar bridge here, and we've seen on Phantom it's a very effective bridge to use. It doesn't cost a lot, and that's something you might want to check depending on the chain you're on. You can come from FTM. Let's say you've got 1,000 FTM sitting there and you want to go to Base. You can come over and get USD BC, and you can basically, it'll do the trade for you. So it's going to do, the beauty of Axelar is it's going to do a cross-chain swap and get you those tokens across. Okay, so we could make it ETH because that's what you're going to need to use on chain. So you're going to need Ethereum to have gas. Okay, it's going to be what we're pairing everything with. So you can select ETH if you want. Come through. If your wallet's connected, you need to connect your wallet there, submit, and then those tokens will, in some cases, I think here it's pretty quick, but expect a minute or two for them to come across, and then they'll be sitting in your wallet, in your MetaMask, in your Rabby. Basically, you'll just see them come onto your new network. So you'll have a new network loaded up, Base. You can come in, you can click on there, and you can basically see how many networks you have. You can see where all your tokens sit across those networks. Okay, so that's effectively how the system works. That's basically showing you through it exactly what we're doing, how we're launching, and then a way to get across to Base. But it's exciting times. There's lots of info to come, and I definitely recommend that you watch all the videos, read all the content, because it's pretty complex what we're doing. And if you haven't been too involved, I want to make sure that you don't miss anything.